I mean, just the fact that, you're heavily making out, like right away.
Yeah, I don't apologize for that. Yes, we were making out because we wanted to see if we had that kind of connection.
Rebecca and JW, I can tell you that the feeds, the people are speaking, and what's happening in the feeds is they're going, where's Rebecca and JW?
This is my youngest daughter, Rebecca Weiss, and her husband, Joni Weiss. Welcome.
Good to be here.
Welcome to the table. She's going to be grabbing him the whole time, I can tell you that. Rebecca Lamb, you were born into an amazing family, I know.
Amazing mother.
Best.
Hello, friends. Today, we delve into a story that's not just about relationships, but about family, faith, leadership, and the challenges that come with living out one's beliefs in the public eye. This story centers around Joni Lamb and her youngest daughter, Rebecca Lamb Weiss, and the controversial decisions surrounding Joni's marriage to Doug Weiss. It's a story layered with emotion, confrontation, and spiritual complexities. It isn't just about one family, it's a broader reflection on how we navigate relationships, faith, and the often unspoken tensions that arise within the most sacred bonds. Before we dive in, I want to make something clear. This video isn't about judgment. It's about understanding, reflection, and perhaps learning something about ourselves through this story. Let's begin with what we know. Joni Lamb has long been a respected figure in Christian leadership. Known for her charisma, faith-filled messages, and dedication to spreading the gospel, her work has impacted countless lives. But like all of us, Joni is human faced with decisions that challenge not only her faith, but also her family. The spotlight on Joni grew brighter when she began a relationship with Doug Weiss, a well-known marriage counselor. For many, this relationship seemed like a new chapter for Joni after the loss of her husband, Marcus Lamb. However, as the relationship progressed, it became clear that not everyone in Joni's life was on board with this new direction. Her youngest daughter, Rebecca Lamb Weiss, took center stage in this unfolding story. Rebecca didn't stay silent about her concerns and, at times, voiced them passionately. But the question remains, why? What led Rebecca to oppose her mother's relationship so strongly? And what does this reveal about the dynamics of faith, leadership, and family? Rebecca's opposition to her mother's relationship with Doug Weiss wasn't just a fleeting opinion, it was a deeply felt conviction. As the youngest daughter, Rebecca had witnessed her parents' ministry and marriage firsthand. For her, her mother's relationship with Doug seemed rushed and, at times, at odds with the Christian values they had long upheld as a family. Tensions came to a head during an intense confrontation just weeks before Joni and Doug tied the knot on June 10, 2023. In a secret recording later revealed, Joni recounted the heated exchange with Rebecca, who wasn't afraid to challenge her mother face to face. Rebecca accused her mother of being selfish, entitled, and even straying from her faith. The words were harsh, but they came from a place of deep concern and frustration. Joni, on the other hand, felt Rebecca was being unfair and overly critical. The confrontation reached a breaking point when Rebecca expressed she no longer wanted her children around Doug Weiss's, and even accused her mother of allowing unhealthy boundaries to blur during their relationship. These accusations didn't just stay within the family, they became a public matter when the recording was leaked.
Anyway, Becca just erupted. She said, I cannot see the grandkids anymore. I can't post anything.
She doesn't
just
mean
going on and on. So mean. And saying I was full of the devil, that I had demons, that he cast a spell on me. This is what she said to me. And it's not going to continue to happen.
Yeah, you guys just need to get
emotional deregulation.
time with one another and work through all this. Well, maybe not now, but at some point.
I did tell her she was entitled and self-absorbed and selfish. I did say, and she's like, you will not speak those words over me. I said, but they're true. I mean, after she railed, and I tried to leave the driveway, because Asher was hearing all this, and then he got out of the car. Here I had come to just spend time with him. That's all I wanted. And I started to pull out, she opens the passenger door and continues. I said, please shut the door. She said, shut the door. Please shut the door. So these are the things you won't hear. So then I have to put the car in park, get out of my side, come around, and shut the door. There's her and Asher standing there. I said, leave the door closed. I'm going. This is over. I get back in to drive away. She opens the door again. I get out, go around, close the door, and then I pull out. And so I had no idea that was going to happen. If I had known that encounter, I wouldn't have even gone by to get Asher. The whole first hour was good. It started.
How did it switch?
When I said, she said, Mom, she said, you really hurt my feelings by kicking me out of the house. I said, I didn't kick you out of the house. I told you that while I was in Colorado, I didn't feel comfortable with y'all going into the house without me being there. And she kept using that. Well, when you kick somebody in the house, they're in the house, and you kick them out, right? So that was the thing. And then I talked to Jimmy actually about this. I'm paying for the 1-year birthday party like I always do. And so it's coming up, and she's
Tomorrow, right?
Huh?
Tomorrow, right?
No, she moved it back to
She moved. So is Doug, she said, I don't want Doug there. And I said, if I pay for the party, and it's at my house, and he's here for the weekend, he's going to be there.
As Christians, we're called to extend grace, seek truth, and pursue peace in our relationships. But what happens when those closest to us disagree on what that truth looks like? For Joni, her relationship with Doug represented a fresh start. For Rebecca, it felt like a betrayal of the principles they'd lived by as a family. In the midst of this family tension, Joni's role as a Christian leader came under scrutiny. Many questioned the example she was setting by allowing Doug to stay at her home before they were married. Others were concerned about the apparent rush to marry, interpreting it as a disregard for the mourning period following Marcus Lamb's passing. Joni, however, defended her choices, citing the deep emotional and spiritual connection she had with Doug. She even admitted to moments of physical intimacy before marriage, something she didn't shy away from addressing publicly. For some, this honesty was refreshing. For others, it raised serious concerns about accountability and the standards expected of Christian leaders.
I mean, just the fact that, you're heavily making out, like right away.
Yeah, I don't apologize for that. Yes, we were making out because we wanted to see if we had that kind of connection. I don't know if there's anything wrong. We had talked 60 hours in the month of July, FaceTime.
That's right.
So if there's something wrong, Jimmy, is there something wrong with making out? I definitely kissed the hound dog out of him, so.
Absolutely not.
She said, I don't want Doug there. And I said, if I pay for the party, and it's at my house, and he's here for the weekend, he's going to be there. And that was the trigger. Well, you told me he didn't have to. I said, I never told you that. You told me that, but I never told you I was going to buy that. I actually talked to Jimmy about this, and he said, you absolutely got to draw that boundary now. He's going to be in your family, and you don't let her manipulate you like that. And I'm not
If she tries it now, she'll try it later.
I'm complaining.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
So she said, you're taking away your 1-year-old grandson's birthday party. And I said, I'm not taking it away. I said, I'll pay for it. And we'll have it, but you're not going to manipulate me and tell me. No, exactly. So it was crazy. And so he heard her on the phone when she called me.
Because she was yelling, not because you.
I didn't have her.
Oh, no, that's because
She was yelling.
Yeah, because it was so loud.
We were playing Scrabble. So we were like, it wasn't. Mom says, "Here, listen to this nonsense." She didn't. She wasn't trying to uncover her at all. Rebecca uncovered herself. She's yelling, "I'm going to hold you to standard. You're not being a Christian mom, and this is evil." And I'm like, I actually like Rebecca, but I was like, what the heck?
And I have been guilty of placating that. I mean, y'all.
I think the whole family.
She's trying to be a good mother, but Rachel has been very respectful towards me. She may be saying something totally different, but at least I respect that. And she's been nice to him.
They both have.
Rebecca was very rude to Doug.
We didn't acknowledge me. Was walking by, and they were around. We didn't look at.
Yeah, he just said hello.
Right, well,
He was like, "What is up?"
You're dirt. I can feel it. What is that? I mean, yes, but what is that?
As the weeks turned into months, Rebecca, who had been so vocal about her opposition, suddenly went silent. This was unusual for someone who had been unafraid to speak her mind. The reason for her silence soon became apparent. Rebecca and her husband, J.W., had reportedly signed an NDA, barring them from publicly discussing the matter. This revelation painted a sobering picture of how money and influence can sometimes be used to suppress dissenting voices, even within families. Rebecca's decision to sign the NDA was undoubtedly complex, perhaps a mix of protecting her family, maintaining peace, and avoiding further public scrutiny. But it left many wondering what truths remain hidden, and at what cost. The silence from Rebecca and J.W. created a ripple effect that extended beyond their family. For those who had followed the Lamb family's journey in ministry, this silence felt deafening. It wasn't just a personal matter anymore. It became a public example of how unresolved family tensions can clash with the responsibilities of Christian leadership. Rebecca's disapproval wasn't just about Doug Weiss as a person. It was about the larger picture, the timing, the transparency, and the way Joni's actions reflected on their family's values. She likely felt that as someone raised in the public eye, their actions held a weight of responsibility. Yet, instead of finding resolution, the tension was swept under the rug, hidden behind legal agreements and public appearances. It's not hard to imagine the pain and confusion Rebecca must have felt. Imagine seeing your concerns, your heartfelt warnings, being dismissed not just privately, but on a stage where the world was watching. For a daughter who loved her family, this wasn't just a disagreement, it was heartbreak.
This is my youngest daughter, Rebecca Weiss, and her husband, Jonathan Weiss. Welcome.
Good to be here.
Welcome to the table. She's going to be grabbing him the whole time, I can tell you that. Rebecca Lamb, you were born into an amazing family, I know.
Amazing mother.
Best.
Rebecca and JW, I can tell you that the feeds, the people are speaking, and what's happening in the feeds is they're going, where's Rebecca and JW?
So with Becca JW, them making their choices, it's not some, they're just don't want to talk. It's a very conscious choice they've made, and I'm all about respecting choices and boundaries. Everybody will answer to God. I will answer to God, they'll answer to God. So they will stand before God someday for this choice, and I leave it there.
And it's so important to talk about the sin of omission. If you know the right thing to do and you don't do it, that's sin. So that's what I think is the most grievous part here, and where I pray, that the fear of the Lord, it really hits people, that if they ever know that there's something that can be said to speak out, but you choose not to do it, then you are guilty of the sin of omission.
JW, it's my understanding, wrote quite an impactful letter regarding his concerns.
He did. He read it to me, and it was just laying out everything that he had saw, just all the different details that really led to Pete being the one that was a perpetrator. And again, that just showed you how they were standing with us 100%. But unfortunately, they've signed the NDA and they've chosen the path of silence.
Money has a way of complicating things, especially in families. In the case of the Lambs, wealth and influence became tools for control. From financing homes to reportedly silencing dissent, money was at the heart of many decisions. Consider this. Rebecca and J.W. reportedly accepted loans from Daystar, the Christian television network founded by Marcus and Joni Lamb. These loans tied them financially to the ministry, and by extension, to Joni's decisions. When Rebecca spoke out, it's not hard to see how this financial entanglement could have added pressure to her situation. In contrast, Rebecca's brother Jonathan made a different choice. He refused to take a loan through the family's ministry, opting instead to secure financing independently. This decision wasn't just financial, it was a statement of integrity. Jonathan made it clear that he didn't want to be beholden to anyone, even his own family, when it came to matters of principle. This stark difference between siblings highlights how money can both bind and divide a family. It raises an important question: At what point does financial dependence become a tool for manipulation? And how does this align with the values of faith and trust in God's provision? As Christians, we are called to live lives of integrity, where our actions align with our words and beliefs. Yet, in the Lamb family story, we see the consequences of compromising this integrity. Joni's decisions, allowing Doug to stay at her home before marriage, prioritizing her relationship over her children's concerns, and silencing Rebecca with an NDA, were viewed by many as actions that contradicted the very principles she had preached for years. This isn't to say Joni's feelings for Doug were invalid, but rather, the way she handled the situation left much to be desired in terms of accountability and leadership. When leaders fail to live by the values they teach, it creates a ripple effect. Those who look up to them begin to question not just the leader, but the faith they represent. It's a sobering reminder that leadership isn't just about words, it's about actions, even when those actions are difficult. The Lamb family story is a stark reminder that even the strongest families can face division. The once close bond between Joni and Rebecca now seems strained, with Rebecca reportedly keeping her distance from her mother and Doug. It's heartbreaking to see how unresolved conflicts and a lack of transparency can tear at the fabric of a family. What's more, it shows how easily power and influence can overshadow the importance of humility, listening, and reconciliation. But even in the midst of this division, there is hope. Reconciliation is always possible. Forgiveness, though difficult, is at the heart of the Christian faith. It requires humility, repentance, and a willingness to put relationships above pride and power. So, what can we take away from this story? First, it reminds us of the importance of transparency and accountability, especially in leadership. No one is perfect, but when we make mistakes, it's crucial to own them, learn from them, and make things right. Second, it teaches us about the power of listening. Rebecca's concerns weren't just criticisms, they were cries for her mother to consider the bigger picture. As families, we may not always agree, but taking the time to truly hear each other can make all the difference. Finally, it's a reminder of the power of grace. While it's easy to point fingers and assign blame, grace calls us to look beyond the faults of others and extend love, even when it's hard. This doesn't mean we condone harmful behavior, but it does mean we approach it with a heart of understanding and a desire for reconciliation. Friends, this story isn't over. The Lamb family, like all of us, is on a journey of faith, love, and sometimes painful lessons. Let us pray for them, for healing, understanding, and a renewal of trust. And let us take these lessons to heart, applying them in our own lives and relationships. Thank you for joining me today. If this story has touched you or made you reflect, I encourage you to share your thoughts in the comments below. Let's continue to learn and grow together as we navigate this beautiful, messy thing called life. Until next time, God bless you.